Alright everyone, StyxHexhenhammer just released a very interesting video that is a topic that I wanted to talk a couple of days ago. There was like other interesting subjects which I had to discuss. The idea that he doesn't want to engage with a YouTube community called BreadTube that is now doing very similar tactics that the Bloodsports were making, which is to antagonize someone with a bigger subscriber base, to say things that are partially true or absolutely false about the person, and then to expect that person to defend themselves and to invite them over to your channel to a debate where you're going to start gaining super chats and money. It's kind of funny in a way because like the communists are very capitalistic. They make a lot of money with the super chats, and I have nothing against it. It's something that obviously I do as well. However, myself and other people on YouTube have stopped not only going to other people's debates, but also having co-hosts when we live stream. And yes, I do have a live stream channel, link is in the description. And it's mostly because of the terms of service here on YouTube. Now, StyxHexhenhammer doesn't go there because he believes that the people are grifters and, you know, he doesn't want to give them popularity. I legitimately don't care. Like, that's not the reason that I don't do debates anymore, because you guys know that last year I've done more debates than almost anyone else. I've been to far-right channels, I had far-left people on, I had like all these things, and it's not a problem for me if the person makes money or not. The problem is that the terms of service right now are to the point where they make debates impossible. Like, let me tell you what I mean. Let's say I were to organize a debate between a person that still has a job right now and works from home, a blue checkmark, a prestigious journalist, and a working class lad who has been fired for the last 2 months. And we got to decide about, I don't know, the quarantine in a fictional country that is still in effect. Right now it's May. Now, the person that has lost his job for the last 2 months obviously wants to go back to work, while the person who works from home wants the quarantine measures to remain in place. Now, during this debate, the person that wants the quarantine to remain can say the most outlandish and ridiculous things. He can say, yeah, I think the quarantine should remain for the next 25 years. He is free to say this. But if the person that wants to lift the quarantine says something that's even remotely controversial, then YouTube can use their terms of service to shut down the stream and say, oh, you're spreading dangerous misinformation to the public. You're not allowed to talk against the quarantine. I mean, we saw the video with 2 doctors that even made it onto Fox News, how they were leading statistics and they were talking and interpreting the stats in a non-orthodox manner, and YouTube took that video down. So as you can see, like, how can you have a discussion? How can you have a debate when one side can say all the outlandish things they want and the other side just has to constantly censor and watch out what they're talking about and how they're speaking and how they're phrasing things? I mean, and it's not, you know, like just about this. There was a live stream a couple of weeks ago with one David Icke, and he had 80,000 people watching. Like, that is insane. That is like a stadium filled with people. Now, if he had this discussion outside on an actual stadium, none of the things that he said were illegal. None of the things that he said would have get him arrested or persecuted or anything like that. But because he did it on the platform, boom, YouTube just like that unilaterally shuts down his stream. I don't even know what he was talking about, but clearly it must have been something interesting if 80,000 people were watching. So yeah, that's the problem. Like, it's not a platform where you can express yourself and present your ideas properly. And I understand why many YouTubers are even afraid of having a co-host. Like, if I'm live streaming, I can monitor what I want to say, and I can make sure that I measure my words correctly. But if I get a co-host and they go off the rails and they say certain things that, I don't know, are absolutely horrible, like he misgendered someone, then I can get in trouble, and it's my channel. I'm the one getting a strike. And, you know, it's also, I have seen cases where, with Bloodsports, I don't know if it's the same for BreadTube, but I have seen cases with Bloodsports where a person would go there. They would conduct themselves in a manner that would upset some of the viewers, and then the viewers would go and start brooding through that person's Twitter or, you know, social media history to find something offensive, and then try to use social media terms of service against that person. Like, why expose yourself to that? Why even put yourself in that situation? So no, I really get why certain people wouldn't want to engage like that. And it's kind of sad because I legitimately would like to see a debate between StyxHexhenhammer and a communist. It would be entertaining for me, and it would be definitely enjoyable. You know, these debates aren't even going to persuade anyone, though. Like, they're mostly for entertainment. And the reason is that if you have a libertarian and you have a tanky or a blatant communist, and they're talking about issues, it's like having two people read a map when they can't even agree on the definition of north. Because the main problem is the principle. Like, you have one person that believes that people should be free to do what they want and the government should have limited power, while another person believes that the government should have more power and, you know, work for the greater good of the people. Like, if you have that disagreement, you know, like, that is the principle where you can't even agree with, there's no reason in talking about policies and, you know, talking about particular issues. This is going to just be nonsensical. People are going to tap past each other's, and they're going to try to go for gotchas and whatnot, which, don't get me wrong, are very entertaining. I like watching it, but the terms of service does not allow for fun stuff anymore. And sure, you can have the conversation somewhere else, like maybe on DLive, but I have seen cases where someone would say something offensive on DLive and you'd have the trolls clip that out and try to send it to Patreon or try to send it to other places in order to get that person into trouble for things that they said. And it's like, why? Like, for example, if I'm not mistaken, I might be mistaken with this, but I don't think I am. Hassan Piker, right? He says something on YouTube like, he thinks America deserves 9/11 or something in that regard. Obviously something very offensive, you know, something very horrible, and it shows a lot more about his character. But I don't feel like Hassan Piker is a dangerous individual. Like, I do not think that his opinions is going to bring real harm to the world. But he gets banned from Twitter because of his opinions. And it's you know, like, how can you have like spontaneous discussions when things like that are happening? Because if you're going to live stream for 2 or 3 or 4 hours every day, you're going to say something stupid at one point. And that's when it happens, and people are going to present as if that stupid thing defines your entire character, and it makes you look like a dangerous person. I mean, it is absolutely ridiculous. But this is the way the terms of service are, and I'm not the one making these terms of service. 4 years ago, you could have said absolutely everything you wanted. Like, 4 years ago, the idea that you can get censored for your politics was absolutely unthinkable. But nowadays, again, like, 2 doctors decided to interpret some stats in an unorthodox way. That video got quite a few views, but it was also taken down. Here's another example, right? Like, the idea is not to cause harm in the real world. The mainstream media goes and talks about how overly packed certain hospitals are. Now, when you do that, even if it's true, a couple of people that would want to go to the hospital for other conditions, and I know a person that is suffering from a heart condition, and he worked himself a little bit during this period, and he had chest pains, and the correct thing was to go to the hospital. But because he saw in the mainstream media that the hospitals are filled with people suffering from the virus, he was like, well, I'm not going to go there because I don't want to catch the virus. And this is what I know several people that think the same, right? They watch the late night news, they see the hospitals getting packed, and then if they have a medical emergency, they're afraid to go to the hospital because they might get sick. And a couple of people which watch the news, they travel past these hospitals during the day, and they notice that they aren't so packed as the mainstream media is calling. That doesn't mean that they don't have patients in, but it wasn't to the extent that the mainstream media was saying it is. So they start filming with, I think it was like hashtag film your hospital or something like that. And YouTube takes down those videos, all of them. They start taking them down. And then it's exposed that the footage CBS was showing was fake. The person making the footage actually hired people to create this fake queue in order to create hysteria and panic, because that's what sells, that's what gets people glued to the television. And CBS takes it down. But why doesn't YouTube punish CBS in any way, shape, or form for providing misinformation? Why don't they demonetize CBS? Because it's a different rule for the corporation. Not to mention, like, there were a couple of patients that wanted to go to the hospital and had to wait behind that fake queue in order for CBS to do their segment. It's absolutely horrible what's happening. It's like the same terms of service does not apply when, for example, CNN films children that are suffering from gas attacks in Syria and they're dying, struggling from breath. That's fine. They can show that. If I were to go to the streets of Nice and film after one of the accidents there and show you people that are dying after being hit by a lorry, I don't think YouTube would allow me to do that. But if I were to work for CNN and, you know, give them the footage so they can show it, I think that would be fine, wouldn't it? No, like, see, this is my main concern. I don't think that on YouTube right now the conversation is between left and right, authoritarian and Democrat. No. I think the conversation is between corporations and the little guy. If you don't work for a corporation like Vox or Fox or CNN or MSNBC or anything like that, you're gonna get purged. I don't care if you're a far leftist or if you're an anarcho-capitalist or whatever. No, they're coming for you. It's already, and the way they're coming for you is by changing the search engine, making it more difficult for you to be found by the algorithm, by making sure that you don't appear in the recommended section as often as that, by making it so that every video that autoplays after your videos is something from a corporate network. That's how they're coming for you. And every now and then you see another person getting demonetized. Like, and it's not just right-wingers, like Kevin Logan. Kevin Logan is a leftist. What did he do in order to get demonetized? And then the terms of service become more and more strict. For example, you're not allowed to have creator or creator harassment. Like, most of the people that are on my side of the fence, you know, if someone were to criticize me or someone were to make a video even lying about me, like flat out lying about me, I would never, you know, flag them for terms of service violation. But there are certain people with foreheads that do this. And again, it's like, boom, harassment and bullying. Boom, boom, boom. Like, oh, this entire thing with debates can't function under these particular rules. And you might agree or disagree with them, but the rules are what the rules are. It's very difficult to have debates. So yeah, this is why I don't do streams with other people anymore, even people that I agree with. This is why I don't go on other people's streams, even though I have been invited. I might do so once in a while, but at the end of the day, I just don't understand, you know, like the benefits do not outweigh the negatives. Absolutely not. And yes, I believe in free speech. Like, I would never try to censor someone for the things that they're saying on the platform. If it was up to me, the terms of service would revert back to the way they were in 2012. Then we can have debates. But right now, no. Like, I will put my opinions and my ideas on my channel. People want to watch them, that's fine. They can always choose to watch someone from the far left or one that's an anarcho-capitalist. I don't care. Just, you know, you're free to watch whomever you want. I think people can choose. If my ideas aren't swaying or convincing enough, at least I hope they're entertaining. And that's the way it is. And it's not just on this platform. It's on pretty much the whole internet. And as I noticed before, you get like these inter-platforms cooperations where you say something on one platform and you get negative results on a completely different platform. That's about all. Peace out.